Then you had a question.
I did. Last time you talked a little bit about why septic needs to irrigate, and I was wondering if you could expand on it a little bit more. Because after I left, I was like, what did he say about that again?
How does he do it? So let's see how we're doing on time. All right. I'm thinking that in 5 minutes we should start the next film. So, and then there was one guy in the back who seemed to be, I think he left. Did that guy go away?
I think he went to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. I sort of missed out. So I actually wrote this down like how to irrigate. Now, as with a lot of things, we think, oh, that plant needs water. Well, the gut reaction, brute force thing is, well, then I'll bring it water. If it needs water, I'll make sure it has all the water it needs. So that's irrigation. So nature, of course, has a variety of other techniques. If you think about it, any one of those plants that we're irrigating, if you can find them somewhere around and they're existing, how is it that they're existing here? How is it that they're getting by without our help? Damn it, don't they know we're here to help them? How can they exist without us? I once thought this through, and I think I wrote about it on permies, that there are 5 things that I can think of. There's probably much, much more. Nature's way bigger than I can wrap my head around. There's at least 5 things that go on there to make it so that you don't have to irrigate. Number 1, look at how many ponds that guy's got. He's got 70 ponds on 110 acres. Now granted, he'll have something sitting where it's like 100 yards from the nearest pond. So how does that make a lick of difference? Well, one thing is that having all those ponds in the area, the sun's going to hit those ponds. The water is going to end up in the air. Is it possible that the air around there tends to have a little bit more moisture in it than in other places? Therefore, there may be a little bit more morning dew. Now, this is the point where most of the folks that are big fans of irrigation would say, well, that's not enough water, so the whole thing doesn't work. Well, I'm just getting warmed up. That's part 1. So another thing to consider is the whole mycelium thing. Now, if you're to plant strawberries have very shallow roots. And as soon as that top bit of soil dries out, like it does around the end of July, it's a goner, because there's not enough water. But if it's growing right next to some kind of oak tree, say, an oak tree that was planted from seed and has a freaky big taproot going down 20, 25 feet, that oak tree's got lots of water. It's doing good. And then the oak tree, when it goes to trade its sugar, it's like, here's sugar with a whole bunch of water because I got so much water I don't know what to do with it. And the next thing you know, the mycelium is able to trade in water. Have you ever been to a patch where there's like some big trees and all the grass is about, 50 feet, 100 feet away from the trees is all brown? Hey, dude, you're looking sharp. All that grass is brown, but the stuff that's near the trees is pretty green. How did it get so green? Well, of course, the other part of it is a little bit of shade. A little bit of shade here and there does wonders. Most plants don't need all-day sun to do their best work. In fact, they actually thrive under partial sun. Do better than if they had all-day sun. And that helps too. So we've got polyculture, a little bit of shade. We've got a little bit of extra humidity in the air. Google culture. Now, last week when we did this, I made sure that everybody said this at least 3 times. So as a group, we're all going to do this just because I like to hear it in a group. Ready? Google culture. Google culture. Again. Google culture. Oh, one more time. Google culture. Sorry, this is personal pleasure. Google culture is where you're going to bury wood in the soil. Big, herky logs, limbs, whatever. Sepp now builds these things 6 feet tall. In the movie, we saw some that looked about like that. Yeah, he doesn't fool around with little things anymore. He does the big, herky things. Now, suppose you had a big, herky thing like this, and it was about, I don't know, at least as wide. So let's say, oh, should do it, right? And then in the middle, there's huge logs in there. Now let's say those logs are like 5 years old, pretty damn rotten. Throughout the winter, when it rains and everything's kind of dormant, all the nutrients that are in this topsoil get kind of washed down to where the logs are. The logs are like big old rotten sponges. and they'll hold that winter moisture. You think about it, here in Missoula, we get a lot of winter moisture, big gobs of winter moisture. And then we just let it all go down to the groundwater. But if you had one of these hugel beds going on, then those logs would hold on to that moisture throughout the summer. So now all your plant has to do is just get down to one of those logs and it's got all the water it needs. Keep in mind, when you irrigate, you rinse away the nutrients. So now your soil's a little crappier. Now to make up for it, you gotta throw in some fertilizer. And then of course you gotta wash that kind of in too. So, all right, so now we're up to 4 things for irrigation. Ooh, we're running past time. So, the last thing, Sepp points out that when a plant gets heat stress, curls its leaves a little bit. So it kind of curls its leaves a little bit and holds the moisture in. And now I just thought of thing number 6. If you irrigate a tree, it will drop its taproot. It'll just lose it. It's gone. The taproot's gone. Now the plant is dependent on you to keep on watering it. If you stop watering it, it will die. But if you never started watering it to begin with, it'll have that awesome taproot where it can feed itself and all of its buddies. So, good enough? Does that help? I'm sure it's not, complete, but it's a start.
If you like this sort of thing, come on out to the forums at permies.com, where we talk about eliminating irrigation, homesteading, and permaculture all the time.